everybody remembers how they felt around you, how you treated them.
I was actually going to ask, is it okay to yell at kids on a plane?
What's your favorite flavors?
No, I was going to say I went for ice cream last night and I got bubblegum flavor.
Bro, grow up. Seriously, grow up. Welcome back to Critical Banter, the podcast that brings a Friday drinks chat to you. Today we've got a very special episode, 2 classic segments, Bullslut and Higher or Lower. But before that, drop the week, we got me and Miguel, we have Senny.
Yo.
Got Ro.
G'day. Before we begin this episode, just a quick little shout out to Marnie and his girlfriend Eva. They're celebrating their 1-year anniversary. Long-time listeners, thank you for supporting and we wish you a lovely day on the 28th of April.
Apparently they make love to us while listening to episodes. So shout out to you guys.
We don't have Kush, but we have a very special guest. The guest this week is a sport presenter, reporter, and fellow podcaster. You would have seen her on Optus Sport or SBS or on her own podcast, Born Offside, and can now be found on the Rugby League Guru pod. Welcome to the show, Kat Haddad.
Hello, guys. Off camera, I've been in stitches all morning. Like, you guys are hilarious.
On camera, no laughs.
Yeah, no, I'm not actually going to laugh on camera. I don't do that.
She's been laughing at us as well, by the way, listeners.
A lot of behind the scenes that have gone wrong and we've been laughed at.
The buffoonery and incompetence.
No, I love it. Good vibes here.
So, Kat, often we ask our guests, the very first question we ask is, and in theme with the show, I guess, is what is your rarest moment? And so just quickly for listeners, rarest moment we would say is something where you've just done something just silly or weird or stupid in front of other people and they've just been like, what are you doing, mate?
I mean, like, you've unlocked a can of worms with this question because I'm renowned for doing awkward things or saying things that can be taken out of context. You know the Kalen Ponga moment with Danica Mason the other day where he said, I don't need to repeat what he said, but that's me all over. Like, I make statements like that all the time and I don't realize how they're being taken out of context. But when you asked me this, I asked my mum, what's my rare moment or what's something embarrassing or awkward that I've done? And she's like, oh, I don't want to say it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, it was when you were younger. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, do you remember that time we were on the bus and those girls turned around and were laughing at your eyebrows?
Oh, that's not even your fault.
Mum, I said, Mum, that's bullying.
Yeah, that's just bullying.
Mum, that's not an embarrassing moment for me. That's bullying. But it's nice to know that was the first thing that came to mind for her. Of all the things that I've done, she thought about my bushy eyebrows.
Anyway.
Digging up these.
Yeah, I bet those girls are trying to get these eyebrows now. That's
exactly. Now they're in fashion, mate. Now they're in fashion. There's actually a photo of you smiling with Asisat Oshoala after Nigeria beat Australia.
Yeah.
What's it like being a trader?
Asisat Oshoala is one of my favorite footballers. Neither male nor female, just favorite footballers. I adore her. She plays for Barca. She played for Barca. She's moved now to NWSL in the States. She is just a ball of energy. Came out, obviously they'd won. I followed her career for a really long time because I lived in Barcelona and she was one of my favorites. And I was so stoked to meet her that it was incredibly difficult to be professional in that moment. But actually the way that it played out was similar to the Sam Kerr interview. You're standing next to them. You can't really say anything. We just said, we want to speak to Oshoala. Cool. She knows her like manager knows to bring her to us. We do the interview. I talk to her. How was the win? Blah, blah, blah. And then as the cameras are off and I go, by the way, I'm a massive fan. Yeah. And she goes, no way. And she was so energetic and excited that this Aussie reporter is a big fan of her.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I was glad that I told her because I think the fangirling side of what I do too is something I try to steer away from because it can make people uncomfortable. And also I don't really want to walk into a room and be like, just a fangirl that somehow got a lanyard to be in here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But she's awesome and she deserved the comments. You know what I mean? I was glad that she knew she's a gun.
Yeah, she's a baller.
Because she deserved it. Yeah. But yes, I was a trader. Definitely.
Yeah, because like, mate, very happy after the loss.
And I only waited like 24 hours to post it as well. I'd posted on my close friends on Instagram that I met her because I was super excited. And a few of my friends knew. They were like, that's unreal. 24 hours wasn't soon enough. I got a few trader comments in that one, but
it is what it is.
Moved.
They're all just Ro in his different accounts just commenting.
Burners.
I'm curious though, like one of my dreams was to work in sports media. And I was like wondering, how did you get into it? And kind of what was that journey like?
it's not been like a linear journey by any means. I always was interested. I always loved sport. It's a passion point of mine. And I always liked the idea of working in entertainment, broadcast media to some extent. And then I realized I could combine the two. But for me, it started with studying media and communications at uni. And I went radio, I guess, and then started working at Nova, the radio station, but I was in a very salesy role. So anyone who's out there and wants to work in media, wants to face content and all that, any experience is important. And you meet really cool people by doing any kind of job that falls in the industry. But for me, it got to a point where it wasn't evolving the way that I wanted it to evolve. And I couldn't really see where it was going. So I packed up and I moved to Spain, which I feel like, is a normal thing to do when your career's not going the way that you want it to go. And I come from a Lebanese household. I was really nervous to tell my parents that I wanted to go to Spain. I never even lived out of home, let alone move to another country. But, to my parents' credit, the second I told them I want to do this, they held me accountable to it. They said, okay, well then you got to make it happen now. So I went over and the goal of going over there was to experience sport in a European environment, to live in another country, learn another language, do all those things that I think make you a little bit more valuable, I suppose, when you come back here. And I didn't want to do the London move that I feel like every Aussie does.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking it from what they've done. I just loved the challenge of another language and a different environment completely. Because my trips to London felt like quick trips home.
Yeah.
There were Aussies everywhere. So it didn't feel like it would ever be as challenging.
Yeah.
Shattering Sen's dream right now to move to London.
It's true though. Like there's a lot of Aussies there, and it's a nice sense of community. So whenever I was a bit homesick, I'd just go to London for the weekend and come back feeling like I'd been to Australia. But I did that, and I had all my first experiences in sports. So I went to Anfield for the first time in Liverpool. I went to the Camp Nou multiple times. I'd done a few other football trips around Spain, and then COVID struck and I came back. And then I had an existential crisis, like I think most people did at that time, because my dreams were shattered. I'd started a blog that was kicking off with Kat, and it was all about these first time experiences. So delving into what it was like going to Anfield for the first time when you were raised as a Liverpool supporter and so excited. It's a religious experience. So anyway, I had this existential because I was back at home with my parents and couldn't write anymore about these experiences. I didn't know what to do. And then I found podcasting, went into a podcasting role, and then quite literally it just snowballed. So I started in a creative kind of sales role, and then I was doing similar to what you guys are doing right here. I had my own podcast on the side, and I was just producing it, editing it, doing it all myself. And then I met Claude Fabiano and Olan Tekers, and we created the Born Offside podcast. And then that also snowballed, and brands like Nike started to notice me and got me involved in different content and MC jobs. And so I was able to kind of run with that presenting side a little bit more. And then as soon as we got a year out from the Women's World Cup, Optus Sport reached out to do some stuff with me, and that's kind of how the journey began. So it was a lot of up and downs. It wasn't, like I said, linear, but I think I always knew where I could see myself, and I just kept making decisions that ultimately led me to doing what I'm doing now. And there's still so many things I want to do, but I can safely say that I'm manifested to a degree what I wanted back then to what I'm doing now.
I think that's fair enough. Like when you came back after COVID, I feel like a lot of people would have just given up. Like you had your dream, it got shattered. You would have just gone back to sales, I guess, like at the radio station.
Yeah, this is a very different experience to me, where it's like I have no goal, no plan, and we just see what happens. So
but that's also
it's
nice.
No, well, I guess so. But in a sense, like it's good that you had a vision, and then all these opportunities present itself by just putting yourself out there, which I think is
that's
huge.
the key. It's just if you can see it in here, there's no reason you can't make it happen in real life. And I think probably the most challenging part is that I didn't see anyone that was like me. So I couldn't look at someone and go, I'm going to follow their journey and make the same kind of decisions, because no one had really done it my way or look like me in Australian media in the type of role that I wanted.
Well, there's a nice quote. It's like, you can't be what you can't see, And mate,
but
you're inspiring other people then.
Well, I'd like to think so, but I'm motivating myself by what I wanted in the past, and knowing that every time I do something, I'm a little bit of that dream is also coming to fruition.
Oh.
But yeah, it's really nice.
Just to touch back a sec. So you said when you told your parents you were moving, obviously they came around on it, but obviously there would have been a level of shock on their part. So my question is, were they more disappointed when they found that out or when they found out you were a Souths fan?
It's funny you ask. My mum's from Maroubra.
Oh,
So she actually was raised in South Territory.
okay, fine.
And even though she's not a footy person, she'll be the first to tell you that she's a South Sydney supporter. Although, like, couldn't tell you anything about it. But, like, I love my mum, but, like, come on, man. every time we watch
Casual.
a footy.
Imagine calling your mum a filthy casual, a plastic fan.
Armchair supporter.
So casual. Like, has, like, the same 3 lines when we watch footy. Like, that was a knock on.
Get him on side.
Yeah. Tackle his legs. Like, that's literally my mum. And then my dad, he grew up out in Fairfield and he was a West Tigers or Balmain Tigers, but also not a footy guy. So they actually think I'm an anomaly in general because they're not sport people at all. I wasn't raised in a sport-driven household. No conversations were ever about sport. I was waking up at, 2 a.m. in the morning watching football alone. Yeah, they just think I'm an anomaly. So they weren't surprised.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Well, Sen here, you're a Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
Sen's a Liverpool supporter.
Yeah.
You're a Rabbitohs, but
Okay.
he's a Roosters.
That's just disgusting.
Onside or offside?
That's so offside.
Even though the Liverpool saves him.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah, but we're talking local. These are stadiums you can go to, teams you can physically be there to support. What draws you to Roosters?
The word Sydney.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think when we were younger, they made 3 grand finals in a row.
Yeah. So
And
you're
so
a
I just
glory
jumped
hunter.
onto that.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, if you're going to call 4-year-old Sen a glory hunter, fair enough then. I can't deny it. But I think that was it. They were just
It's
really
true.
good when we were young, and then I
Yeah.
just
No,
jumped on the
jokes
bandwagon.
aside, I think, this is one point I feel like I have to make a lot now that I'm not just working in football, but also rugby league. I'm far more neutral than before. I don't get as emotional about. I've never really been an emotional sports supporter or team supporter.
I don't know, that blog article about going to Anfield,
That was pretty emotional.
that was very emotional to me when I was reading it.
That's true. That's true. But in terms of,
Getting angry.
yeah, like I don't get in fights with people. And sometimes people will say things like they're expecting me to buy it back. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, you've stated a fact. We lost. Like, let's move on. But I think I can appreciate what every team brings to the
Yeah.
table.
It's a very...
You like that?
I did like that. That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
What are the NRL players that you rate super highly,
Ooh.
but you got to fight in the group chat, because everyone else just thinks they're crap?
Oh, yeah, fair. Big one's Dom Young.
Mm.
I know with his time at the Knights being top try scorer and all of that, I think people still doubt a really tall winger.
Mm.
They still say, that they're just there because of the physical advantage and they can get a try and it's all about the center or whoever's, offloading the ball to them, that kind of thing. But I'll fight for Dom Young in the group chat. And then he
Yeah.
had to go and,
Almost take
knock
someone's
out
head
Blake
off.
Taff and rip his shirt. I mean, no one was complaining about that.
That was a
but-
nice little clip, I'll be honest.
Even my mother was like, yeah, that one time she watched footy this year, that had to happen. So she kept watching. No, but he's a player that I like. It's a really good question because, Latrell's another one. I think people can appreciate Latrell. Look at you shaking your head.
Oh, did I do that? That was very
Yeah.
subconscious of me.
Reflex.
Yeah, it's reflex.
But Latrell is one I'll always back him to the hills. I know how talented he is. I get frustrated too as a South Sydney supporter when I see him make mistakes or make decisions out of laziness or frustration himself. It's so obvious when he's doing that. But I think he is one of the best that we have. And for the sake of New South Wales Blues,
No.
we need him to be good.
I agree with that. He's a very frustrating player. I think pound for pound, he's probably one of the most talented players
Yeah.
in the NRL. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some days he just decides he doesn't want to play or gets really annoyed and he just kind of self-destructs.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think getting suspended could have been one of the best things to happen to him when he was on a streak of making stupid mistakes.
4 games, yeah.
That's just the reality of it. But I don't think if there's anyone else. Throw some. Who do you guys like?
Yeah, go on, Ro. Who do you like? And don't say the player who's in jail, please.
No. Look, I'm a Bulldog supporter.
Okay,
But
I like
casually.
the doggies.
Yeah. very casually. I'm trying to get back into it. I've been
Okay.
supporting them for like ages. And then in primary school, you know when they had the chips packets with the little like cards?
The Tarzos.
Tarzos.
Yeah, the
Tarzos.
Tarzos.
Yeah.
I think that was the era where I was like at the peak of my
You
rugby
pack a
league
few
addiction.
bulldogs
That was-
and that was it.
That
Dude,
was job
That was a
done.
good time to be alive. That
Funny you mentioned that. I was actually looking at my Tarzo collection yesterday, and I went onto eBay. I'm like, can I actually sell these? Are they worth
Surely you
anything
can.
these days? No, they're worth
No,
like
they're not.
a couple of bucks.
Guru will take them.
Really?
It's like a museum, his studio. There's so much clutter. It drives me nuts. But it's people walk in and it's the longer you stare at a single space, the more you will see. He has,
It's one of those illusions.
yeah, there's so much stuff in there and it's all got some historical relevance to the rugby league. So it's pretty
I'm
cool.
sure my footy Tarzos will
Yeah, yeah,
fit in
they-
place. There.
Name your price.
I
then.
can actually visualize exactly where they would look good in the studio.
My question is, so we've talked about some NRL players, and I don't know how many you've met, but do you have any dream guests in mind, or someone that you want to meet and interview? It doesn't have to be NRL, but just in general, I guess in sport.
I mean, from a rugby league perspective, Greg Inglis, I'd love to sit down and have a proper chat with him.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite player of all time.
you want to ask him why he kicked that field goal or attempted to kick that field goal?
I've got a lot of questions for Greg Inglis. I think even what he's such a great example of what you can do and where you can take your career. And I think he is, for a lot of current players, he's the goal. So I think he's really cool. I mean, from a football perspective, Messi, Ronaldo,
Yeah.
like who doesn't want to meet those guys? I'd love to have a sit down interview with Zlatan.
Yeah.
He'd be so off the cuff.
Would he give you much, you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
He'd
like
have his own agenda in
I
his
was
head
gonna
and
say-
just
Wait,
Yeah,
are you
he-
saying he'd be like Sam Kerr?
No,
Yeah, well, not Sam Kerr, but just like you'd ask him one question and he'd answer a different one.
Exactly.
You know
Oh,
what
he'd
I
be
mean?
like, this is the interview that I want to have.
yeah,
Correct.
actually, I'll
call
be
himself a
asking you
lion
questions.
amongst men again or something.
Yeah, it's actually Zlatan interviewing me.
Yeah.
it's like a comedy routine. He'll just come with his own jokes and stuff, and like you can ask whatever you want. He's just gonna say like just the
Yeah,
jokes he's pre-prepared.
Jokes aside,
Mm.
he'd have some cool shit.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
cool
yeah, yeah.
stories.
no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Especially off-field stuff. That's what I'd be
Oh,
interested
yeah.
in.
I'm so interested in field
Yeah.
stuff. So even the show that I have with Guru is really looking at the fun off-field stuff.
Mm.
Very rarely we actually talk about anything that happened on the field.
Yeah.
I love the stories and the stuff that's going on. Not the drama, but just, like the Thanks Helen Bronson Sherry stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff's so
Yeah.
funny.
I actually think Ro's more interested in the drama, the salacious
Yeah.
stuff that happens off field.
A
Do you have
little
any
bit.
favorite stories?
I can't even say them. I'll tell you off air because
Oh,
like
so scandalous.
they're like personal stories of people like meeting these players like out and about.
Oh, I'm curious about
yeah.
these.
Can't.
I'm
We'll get
very
to fame.
curious about these.
Well, mine is Martin Kennedy, who got done for illegally importing animals.
Yeah. His little
How does an
exotic animal
NRL
show.
player even get involved in that? He was illegally importing like random Amazonian lizards and shit like that.
Yeah, when they tell you they're like, they're entrepreneurs, but they're actually just bringing like in
Yeah.
Live
endangered
animal.
animals.
What happened to just drugs? Just doing normal drugs?
Yeah, just
Why are
do
you doing
drugs.
Livestock. You had Rio Ferdinand on your podcast last year. How was he as a person? Did it take anything in you as a Liverpool fan not to hate him?
No, that's where the neutral thing for me is so key. And
That's why you're better than us, I guess.
so tell me, what would you say to Rio if you met him?
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't. He's probably like 6'3".
He's a pretty big guy.
He's bigger than you think.
Yeah, I'm sure
and
he
he's got a presence. He walks in a room and you can like
Yeah.
feel him.
The aura.
He's got an aura. But he was really nice, really classy. You know what I mean? Like great conversation, gave us the time of day. And I mean, he loves Australia. So he only had good things to say about our country. But in general, I think I just saw it as the Rio that I saw on the TV so much growing up,
Mm.
who played such an instrumental role in the Premier League. I didn't see the Rio that's like done things against my team.
Mm.
Yeah.
I just saw Rio.
Yeah,
He's that guy. He's so cool.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I met him in a I met him in a rogue way. So that trip to Australia, he also
Yeah.
came to promote. He has like a social media
Yeah,
app.
we are right.
We are 8, yeah.
An app,
Yeah, he has a whole platform.
Bumble or something.
And
So
then
he's an ambassador, but he also, I believe, is a shareholder in.
I think he's an
in We Are
investor.
Right.
Like he's part of a group that has invested. And then my partner's company, they use the app. So it's like a marketing agency. So they use the app. He got invited to speak to the company during a work day. So I
Packed up.
took a day off
Mm.
and snuck into her office and sat and listened to Rio Ferdinand speak about We Are 8 for an hour. And I got a photo with him afterwards.
That's mad. that?
Did you get him to sign your shirt or anything?
No, so I have his. I forgot I have his like autobiography from like 10, 15 years ago. Well, I should have like brought it or something, but yeah, I got nervous when I met him because he was on his way out. So like they're like no photos, but like it's Rio Ferdinand. I've watched him for like my whole childhood. I got to sneak one in. So I ended up getting a photo with him, and then like I put my arm around him. His back is so firm, dude. That's the thing that got me. He's wham, man. But
How far down did you go?
The security told me to. Just there, mate. No, but like, dude, he does have an aura, a presence. Like when he walked in the office, like you could just tell everyone's eyes went on him, and it's like the way he was just walking in and everything, the way he talks as well. So like calm and composed.
So calm.
Unreal.
Do you get nervous interviewing people sometimes?
This is the most nervous I've ever been.
That's a lie, and you know
You
it.
don't need to lie to us like that.
Because you started with that game, man. Kill me. Who would be? I'd say the Matildas interviews were very, very nerve-wracking because there was Optus Sport's one chance to get comments post Women's World Cup games. So I always felt like the weight of the entire organization on my shoulders to do the right thing. But I think I pulled it off. Where would I have been the most nervous? I honestly don't think that those environments make me nervous. I think I actually feel very comfortable in them, which is why I want to do more of it. But I think if it was like a Virgil van Dijk, I'd get nervous because I have such a crush on him. Yeah.
Speaking of aura, I reckon his aura.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
How he defends.
Yeah,
With aura.
I reckon I reckon I'd get horny just looking at him.
Shush, man. Shush.
Dude, have you seen the thing where they asked Troy Deeney who's like the best smelling defender, and he said apparently Virgil van
Did he?
Dijk wears like strawberry perfume or some shit.
Wow.
See the aura itself, dude. You smell it and you're like, shit, I'm gonna get tackled today. We got a few.
I want to get tackled today. Sorry.
So
Moving on.
We have a few quick little fun, I guess, games we're going to play just to end us off here. So I got a couple and Ro has a few as well. So the first one, start, bench, sell these NRL fullbacks. So Latrell Mitchell, Tommy Turbo, and Dylan Edwards.
Oh, this is so hard. Start, bench, sell. Start, bench, sell. Okay, Edwards is so good. Turbo's so good. Trell, is he still suspended? Because that's
it's just current form.
Okay, easy sell. Trell suspended.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Thank God.
I was hoping you were going to start him.
I think I would start Turbo and bench Edwards because like a bench with Edwards on it, you're in business.
Coming off the bench and running like 300 meters, that'd be insane. Okay, that's fair enough. Next one. Can you blind rank these Premier League teams from 1 to 5, where 1 is the best and 5 is the worst?
Okay.
2004-5 Chelsea. So Jose Mourinho's first season.
This is a team that conceded like 10 goals or
16
something.
goals, I think, for over a 38-game season. The record. The least amount of goals conceded.
Because I don't know what's coming. So it's out of 5?
Out of 5.
Let's put them 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Ro? That
I
noise.
personally would have them higher. My informed opinion.
What
You're a
about?
Chelsea supporter?
No, I'm a Man United supporter.
He knows literally nothing.
Yeah.
The filthiest
I
casual
actually
you'll
thought
ever meet.
that. I really thought that.
So did all his workmates. He walks into work as if he's a Man United fan.
Yeah, just
Little do they know he
Reddit.
just watched the highlights the day before to get by.
All right, next one. The Arsenal Invincibles.
Oh,
Not overrated team.
settle.
How many draws did they have that season?
Who?
2.
I'd put him higher than the Chelsea.
All right. The 07-08 United won the double. European Cup, Premier League. Ronaldo, 34 goals, 31 goals.
Yeah, but
31.
that's a Ronaldo individual season.
Still won the Premier
We-
League and the Champions
No I
League.
in team.
Yeah.
You hush for the next few seconds.
I'm going to put that at 4.
4.
I'm waiting for a Liverpool moment.
All right, next up, the Centurions, Man City.
I'm going to put them at 5. Like I'm not confident that it's number 1.
Oh.
Daniel
Worked
looks
out
happy
nice.
with himself.
The last one, 2019-20 Liverpool.
1.
Number 1. So you've
One.
gone Liverpool 1, Arsenal 2, Chelsea 3, United 4, and City 5.
Yeah. There's just so many people that will hate me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
But
wait for the
guess what?
comments.
I don't care. I don't care. I've grown the thickest skin working in football because I could have said it in any order and people will find a
Oh,
problem.
absolutely.
So-
There's no right answer to
no,
this.
to some there is.
Yeah, depending on who you support.
Exactly.
All right. Last one for me.
Yeah.
It's called Hot or Not. So it's either this is a hot take or it's not a hot take.
Okay.
Do you agree with it or you don't agree with
Okay.
it? Watching sports is better at home on TV than it is in the stadium.
The sport looks better.
Mm.
Like the sport itself looks better, but I'm not supposed to give you a paragraph. It's like hot or not.
give it.
Here's my
Any way you
here's my
want.
justification. If we're talking rugby league,
Mhm.
you cannot beat the viewing of the game on the TV.
Mm.
It's so good. You go to a game, you break your neck looking at the screen the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
When it comes to the environment, ambience of being there with the crowd, you can't beat that. Like the Matildas penalty shootout, like being there for that, craziness.
We watched that at Tumbalong. The vibes were good there as well.
Yeah. I do think it's better on TV. The sport itself looks better on TV.
Okay. All right. Next one. Cereal is better with warm milk.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, who does that?
I'm the number one fan, number one proponent
Are you
of warm
serious?
milk. Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay. Well, we'll move on. Next
Do you
is-
do you warm up the cereal?
No.
So the milk first.
The milk gets warmed. The cereal gets put in the bowl, and then the milk gets poured on top.
I used to do that with Wheat Bix, but never. Wait, do you do it with like
I've heard of
cornflakes,
people doing it with wheat.
Nutrigrain, etc.?
Yeah, it's all better. The only cereal I would not do it with, rice bubbles.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Why does that get an exception?
Do you know, I think the issue for me is one of the things I like most about cereal is when the milk is really cold.
Yes, man.
It's fresh and crunchy. Like that's part of the appeal. And you've just removed that part of it completely.
I think I like the sogginess. A little bit of sogginess does okay.
But it gets soggy with cold milk as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, it doesn't
Have you
matter.
tried it with cold milk?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've tried
Wait,
it.
even Cocoa Pops with warm milk.
No, sorry. Cocoa Pops and rice bubbles, all the bubbles, cold milk.
Don't you love how they're like,
Like
talking to you?
crackles, yeah. All right, the beach is the most overrated destination.
I do like the beach, but sand, man, does my head in. I also have like a phobia of waves,
As in like,
Please expand on that.
like and deep water and all that jazz.
I feel like that's not a, that's
I
like
feel
a
like
reasonable
I'm
phobia.
I'm like super Arab when it comes to that stuff. Yeah. I like water that is, waist high and I can see the bottom.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, I'll panic. My mum threw me and my brother into surfing lessons when we were kids up in Terrigal. And I had a panic attack out in the water for like 5 minutes and had to come back and I just sat it out. I am not good at deep water. I don't like waves. I was dumped a lot as a kid because just obviously wasn't coordinated enough for it, which for a mum who grew up in Maroubra at the beach was a bit ashamed.
Yeah, that's
But
traumatic.
it's just not my thing. So I'd actually agree with you because a day at the pool can be just as good as a day at the beach.
All right, last one. Planes should have a baby only section.
Are they all going to set each other off though?
Yeah, true.
As in like just babies or babies and parents?
Well, babies in there. That's what
Oh,
yeah.
It's a nursery.
It's just a nursery.
a
That's
big-
not a bad idea though.
What?
The nursery one, that's
Oh,
got
just
legs.
shoving them all in there.
That's got
I
legs.
mean, shove is an aggressive word, but
I don't know about it. It's not a closet. Childcare, like a childcare on a plane.
Yeah, I can say that.
I visited my friends in Spain in September and I was coming back and I was like offered the additional leg room and I thought, oh my gosh, of course I'll say yes to that. Then realized only people with babies sit in these
Oh,
seats.
really?
Because it's the one that comes down.
Yeah.
And so I had this mum next to me. There's a reason why I'm telling you the story. This mum next to me, she'd asked me to swap because I had an aisle seat and extra leg room. I mean, that's pretty ideal. But
You take that.
I said, you can take my seat because she had a newborn. She's like, I'm going to be up a lot walking the baby around. Do you mind if we swap seats? And I said, that's fine. So I'm now in the middle. And it's one of those rows where the seats also like the armrests don't go up. So I'm just sandwiched like this between people. And I just thought, don't worry, Kat, you've done the right thing. You gave the newborn and her mother a seat, a really nice seat, and it'll pay off. Anyway, we had a little chat later in the flight and I kind of held her baby a bit for her while she had to get up and do things. Like it was,
You're a babysitter.
yeah, I was a babysitter. I didn't mind though, or she was just doing things and I was interacting with the baby to distract or whatever, and I enjoyed it. But then like 3 weeks ago, I'm sitting in a business meeting and she walks past.
No
No
way.
way.
She goes, oh my gosh, hi, long time no see. I didn't know if we'd ever cross paths again. I was like, neither did I. And then the guy I was having a meeting with, he goes, oh, she works with us.
That is huge.
I know.
Wow.
And
Moral of the
we
story.
briefly chatted about our jobs and stuff. And so I knew that she was kind of in the sporting world, but I never knew that our paths would cross the way that they did. And
crazy.
guys, you've got to be respectful to everyone because you never know when you're going to meet them again. You know, everybody remembers how they felt around you, how you treated them.
I was actually going to ask, is it okay to yell at kids on a plane?
But if I'd been an asshole with her and her baby,
Yeah. Deals off.
the story could have been very different.
Because I've got a very, very quick story if you'll indulge me for a second. So I was coming back from somewhere and then in the row behind me was like two like toddlers, like maybe two and the other one was one.
Like you're on a plane?
On a plane, yeah. And then we were like, it was a night flight. So it was like maybe 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And this kid just starts yelling bloody murder. And she's like, where's my mommy? And I'm like, dude, your mom's right next to you. Can you shut the fuck up? But I was facing forward. But for literally half an hour, this kid was just yelling. I'm like, dude, where do you have the energy for this from? And then after a while, I stood up and I looked and I stared at the kid and he stopped crying. And then I sat back down. I'm like, good. And then
You tell him, Sen. You tell him.
And then 30 seconds later, this kid's like, why did he look at me? And I started crying again. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
You actually made it worse.
That made it worse.
I can't believe you oosed the child.
I oosed the child and I lost.
That kid refuses to go on planes
Yeah.
because of you. The family hasn't traveled in years.
But yeah, next time I'm going to take your advice, Kat.
I think it's a little inconvenient at times, but I'm like, there will be a day where I'm the mum on the plane and all I want is for people around me to be understanding. You don't need them to look after your child, but just to be a little empathetic, I think is important.
No, that is true. All right, and with that, we'll wrap up the interview. We'll jump into the game.
Alrighty, guys, it's time for our game. And as per usual with a guest, we're going to play Bullslut. So if we look at the guest leaderboard, we've got Rohan at 6. That's an asterisk. We don't count that one. But we got Jason at 4, Neil at 4, and Henry at 2. So famously, we are still yet to win a game of Bullslut. So Kat,
Today might be the day.
today might be the day. So you'll be taking on both Miguel and Ro.
Okay.
Sheesh.
And just for listeners who maybe don't know how the game works, I'm going to give you guys a category and you're going to try and see how many things you can name. So for example, I'll say name European cities. And Kat, you might say 15. And Ro might lie and say 16 and you can call him out. And you say Bullslut and then it's up to Ro to name 16 European cities in 30 seconds.
Okay.
And if he gets it, he'll get the point. Very simple. So first round, Kat, you'll be taking on Migs. And your
Jesus.
category is types of footwear.
Oh.
I'm getting the deer in headlights look from Migs.
How many are there?
I'll give you brands. Like if you gave
Good brands.
like types of shoes. Like for example, if you named your type of shoe, right? I'll allow it.
No,
that's egregious.
Is that egregious?
Because you've got Adidas, then you've got Yeezy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you did that, I'll allow it.
You will allow that.
I will allow that.
Seriously. Shit.
Okay.
There's really types of sneakers at this
Correct.
point.
If you want.
6.
In 30 seconds.
I'll say 7.
Here forever.
Yeah.
10.
Hey, you just went to a shoe shop.
Yeah.
Have a look.
I know, but
What's
I'm
on the wall?
conservative.
You're
I'm
both
conservative.
sneakerheads as well. To some extent.
Yeah,
That's
but
a loose
I'm
word.
playing it safe. Like this is the first time I've ever done this.
That's fair.
And I would like some female representation on this board.
Respect that.
Maybe
Um,
not at the bottom.
Kat, you just said you spent 2 hours yesterday practicing this game.
You're not meant to say that. 11.
12.
Bullslut.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
So any.
Yes.
Okay.
I made this nice and easy.
All right. I
Sam.
might have some Hail Marys here at some point.
All right. So, Miguel, you have to name 12 types of footwear in 30 seconds.
Sure.
The time starts now.
Air Jordan 1. Air Jordan 2. Nike Dunks. Nike Air Force. Adidas Yeezys. New Balance. 247. New Balance.
That's
550s.
6,
Adidas Sambas.
7.
Ultra Boost. NMDs. Nike Mercurials. Nike Hypervenoms.
That's 10.
Adidas Predators. Nike
11.
Tiempos.
12.
Puma
Oh.
Tricks.
13. Well done. With
That
4
was-
The
seconds
football
to
boots
go.
were coming out when I had
No,
trouble.
Do you know what? The football boots was a great move.
All right. So, Miguel, you get a point on the board for us. Well done. All right.
Where
Now,
are you guys on this? Or you're not on this?
we
at
only
all?
put the guests.
Okay.
So, Ro, you're up next.
Mm.
And your category is Olympic events. The year of the Paris Olympics. So, a bit of a thematic one there.
Are we saying summer and winter?
No, just summer, please. I don't
Ah.
believe in the winter
The
one.
winter, yeah, doesn't count. I'll say 10 events.
I reckon that. I'll say 12.
14.
I'll have some fun. Let's go 15.
If
Yeah,
I
right.
play 16, will you go 17?
No, I'm Bullslut. I am
On sheer
Bullslut.
volume, row, I think it's a
That's a Bullslut moment.
pass it on.
I'll say Bullslut. Let's
Okay.
see you go.
All right. Kat,
Okay.
30 seconds to name 15 Olympic events. Your time.
Can I clarify something before you start?
Yeah.
If it's like, can I give distance and type? So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
fine. That's fine. Yeah.
all right.
All right. Your time starts now.
Okay. 100 meter sprint, 200 meter, 400 meter, 1.5 kilometer. Hurdles, 100 meter, 200 meter. Javelin, shot put, discus,
9,
gymnastics,
10,
tennis, soccer.
12. You got 9 seconds.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, I'm swimming. Medley, freestyle.
All right. We'll allow that.
But sorry.
Okay, well, hang on.
What?
That's not 15 in 30 seconds.
What was it?
You got to swimming,
Yeah.
and then
And
it
what
got
was
to what's your name?
Medley and then freestyle.
Medley,
If you
okay.
count-
Freestyle,
Freestyle.
Freestyle's a
That's
type.
a start.
that's a type of stroke.
Yeah, and there are races in that
Races
format.
and Freestyle stroke.
Okay, all right.
No,
If
no,
we-
100 meter freestyle,
Yeah.
100 meter backstroke. Like that's a thing.
Did she make it?
So swimming, medley, freestyle. That was. Are we counting that as 3
Okay,
or
kick
2?
it to her. 3.
Then 15.
Then it's 15.
Oh, no.
Oh god,
Got
I
there
don't
exactly
even know how
on
I
the
did
dot.
that. I actually am sweating.
Oh, my God.
It's a high pressure game.
It is actually. It really gets you thinking.
I was a little worried. Okay, I thought I was cruising when the shot puts and the discus started flying.
Wow.
No.
No, I thought she was going to get there easily.
No, and then because I was worried because I was like in my head I was like the swimming when it comes to swimming it's just like 50, 100,
Yeah.
just quietly. 110 meter hurdles is the event, but
But I think I just said hurdles.
yeah.
Why do you know that?
All right,
unique-
nerd,
No, 'cause-
relax.
No, you know why? Because I was literally I was
You're a
ironically-
loser, bro.
I was watching
What
like
did you write this and you were preparing?
no. I was watching all the records. It was like a 20-minute video. It was like all the records of the Olympics broken, and I was just like happened to see that video.
I would
I wonder
admit
why it's
that.
110.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have no idea why.
Yeah, like what's the rationale behind 110?
Maybe the distance you take to jump is 10 meters. I don't know.
It's a good-
I'm waffling. I could be
No,
completely
but
off.
that like would make sense.
All right, Kat,
Or we're
it's
just
1-1.
taking his word
No,
at
no,
face
it
value.
is. I watched the video.
All right, so Kat gets a point there. It's currently 1-1.
Mm.
Next up, Migs, you're back up, and your category is ice cream flavors.
5.
5? Oh, 10.
Oh my goodness gracious, we're in trouble, Migs. We're in deep trouble here. Have a look,
What's
have
the
a-
flavor?
ice
Well, yeah. Let
Have a
me.
look at
View. I'm in
Messina,
an ice
brother.
cream shop, right? I see
I mean-
the board up there,
No,
but I only order like 3 things.
Don't think of Messina. You're going to spend half your time naming their stupid names.
Like
11. You know what? 11.
I'll say 15.
Good, you did that. Bullslut. I was scared you'd call me out on 11.
All
I
right,
reckon I can do 15.
Kat,
Okay.
you're up again. 15 is the number to get.
My concentration face is going to go hard. I'm going to stare at the wall. Let's go.
All right, you have 30 seconds to name 15 ice cream flavors. Your time starts now.
Chocolate, double choc, mint choc, pistachio, coffee, mocha, white chocolate and raspberry, vanilla, cookies and cream,
10,
stracciatella, tiramisu, Messina.
You have 13 seconds.
3
Let's
more.
go.
3 more.
Oh my gosh, cinnamon, chai flavor. How many do I need?
One more.
1 in 2 seconds. Your time's
mint.
up. Oh.
I said mint choc and then mint.
Oh,
That was
We have
really
to run the
hard.
tape back. Kush is shaking his head. I
Kush,
think.
what do you
Is that a
reckon?
Nah, the time is up. Oh,
That's fine.
look,
That's
I thought-
heartbreaking.
I'll cop it.
When you said Stradivarius, what did you say?
Strawberry.
I thought we were in
That's a
trouble.
brand. Stracciatella is like if any gelato place will have it.
It's like cream flavor. No.
It's it's
Oh, no.
like an Italian version of cookies and cream. Or it's got like
Right.
chocolate chips, but it's like broken
Yeah.
up chocolate.
Oh, yes, I have
Yeah.
seen that.
I don't want to get really like technical. But despite the point scoring there, I do know my gelato.
You
I would have
definitely
gotten
proved that.
like half of those.
14. That's
I should have
heartbreaking,
just
I will
said
say.
13. Oh, I'm my own worst enemy.
You could have said all the fruits is where I would have gone.
Oh,
Pistachio,
yeah.
strawberry, etc. Et
The famous pistachio fruit.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What's your flavored? What's your favorite flavors?
No, I was going to say I went for ice cream last night and I got bubblegum flavor.
Bro,
no,
grow
no,
up.
no, no,
Seri-
no, no.
Seriously,
Yeah,
grow up.
That's exactly the response I got. Yeah, I'll tell you, it was delightful.
I mean this. I do not understand the appeal of bubblegum flavored
me neither.
anything.
Mm.
It's so nice.
Wait, do you
What
normally
about
get
it is
bubble gum?
nice.
No, because I haven't seen bubblegum in a while. Normally, to be honest, I would get like a pistachio or something like that.
I'm a pistachio girly.
Bro?
If I'm missing, it's like a coconut pandan type
Ooh.
situation.
Okay, fruity.
Fruity. Yeah.
Yeah, Ro is famously.
Fruity.
Yeah.
There's no need.
Well, you like fruit.
Yeah,
Yes,
come on,
I do like fruit.
Grow up. Migs?
I'm a dulce de leche sort of guy.
Oh,
From
I didn't say that.
Messina. Ro famously can't pronounce it as well. So,
Yeah.
Isn't
It's
there the,
actually dulce de leche.
Well,
but he
Migs and Migs
butchers it
apparently.
even worse.
What do you say?
It's dulce de lich. That's what it is.
Isn't that a super
Unreal.
one as well? Like the.
There is a more concentrated one.
How can you possibly eat that? So sweet. All right. So, Kat, unfortunately,
Oh my god, no, don't.
you're now down 2-1. But there's 2 more rounds. So you can still win it.
Mm.
Okay.
But you need to go perfect from here.
Okay.
Luckily for you, you're up against Ro next. And your category is things at a circus.
Okay, what? This is so broad. I'll go 4.
I'm gonna go 5. I've like never been to a circus.
You're sitting in one now.
I'm trying to think what goes on in a circus.
My problem is I don't think I just say a number.
Yeah.
And then I pray to God that I actually have that.
We call that the Kush method. Famously doesn't work out.
But he normally starts at
Yeah.
20.
yeah.
not 5.
Yeah, well, it's not working so well so far, is it?
No, you're doing all right. 6. Mm.
I feel like there's a lot of crossover between Royal Easter Show and circus. So just as a hint
Okay,
there.
7.
That did not help me. I haven't been there since like the release of show since I was like 15. I'm just gonna go Bullslut because
Oh,
I dead set have no idea.
Kat, 7 things you find at a circus. You have 30 seconds. Your time
Okay.
starts now.
A Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round, go bag, a go-karting, you know, the
Mm.
Mhm.
bumper
cars.
cars. Thank you. Let's go with a hot dog stand, a potato, twirly,
Chips on a
twisty
stick.
chips on a stick.
Yeah,
shed.
you don't play on.
Let's go with a clown.
That's
That's
7.
7.
There you go.
Oh,
There we
I
go.
thought
Is
the
that?
clown was going to be me.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Chips
Two
on
all.
a stick.
That's a classic of the genre.
Wait, am I missing? I'm thinking Cirque du Soleil. That's where
No,
my head went.
I was
at.
going full like circusy festival.
Festival,
vibes.
yeah, I would have allowed that.
Because I think circus is the whole complex.
the
But you're
whole-
thinking of like the main
Yeah, I
tent
was
with
gonna
the
think,
show.
like, yeah, the lions,
the
the
fire
Oh.
fucking.
You're thinking Stardust Circus, bro. No, I meant the whole, the
Okay.
whole shebang.
Yeah.
All right, so it's currently 2-2. Final round. How you feeling, Kat?
I'm better after that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
good.
I
That was-
needed a confidence boost.
All right. We'll see. So your final category now, Migs, you're up, is
Here we go.
spices and herbs.
Fuck off.
Do you cook?
Like the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I was saying,
pre-packaged like
brother, you
herbs.
made a Hainanese chicken rice last night. Did you not?
There was like 3 ingredients in that.
Chicken, rice, and Hainanese.
And I get the recipe and I go to the shops. I don't have this off the dome.
Okay.
6.
I reckon I can do 8,
This is dangerous territory already. 9.
10.
Bullslut. I'll
Okay.
respect myself there.
All right, Kat, for the win,
I think
Okay.
10's easy.
10 herbs and spices in 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
Okay. Smoked paprika, sweet paprika, spice, allspice, coriander, chili flakes. Let's go basil, Italian herbs mix. Let's
Okay.
go cinnamon and
9.
cumin.
Done.
Wow.
15 seconds.
Didn't even go to the S&P, man.
Yeah, I was going to say
Oh!
salt, pepper.
Well, that was like back up.
Fair enough.
Wow.
But I think I found my niche.
There you go.
I'm
Wow.
actually heartbroken. Oh my, how have we lost that?
At 2-1 down, I thought, boys, you can win this easily.
Cats come in with, it was
I
the
have like
bloody-
such a what's it? I have like imposter syndrome where I feel like you've all faked it to let me win.
No,
No,
dude,
trust
we're
me.
just
Go
bad
back
at
and
the
listen
game.
to all those episodes and you'll find that none of this was fake. These guys
Oh.
are actually just idiots.
Well done,
That's
3-2.
so funny.
Congratulations, massive win.
Where does that put me?
It puts you second last.
But not last.
Yeah, poor Henry.
That's fine.
We need to get the 6 off, bro. We play 5 rounds. Why do we have a 6 up
Yeah,
there?
we'll fix that
How
after
did that
this.
happen?
Well, they played a different game
Oh.
that week.
It's also our mate.
Well, it is what it is.
It is
Well
what
done.
it is.
Alrighty, as always, this episode is sponsored by our great friends at Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below the waist grooming. Clear out that winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like the springtime flowers. Well, after using Manscaped, I can finally say I've caught the spring fever. Introducing the season's champ, the Lawnmower 5.0. All right, look, that was a lot. That was a lot. But, ladies and gentlemen, Manscaped are back. They've renewed with us behind the scenes. They love what we're doing. They love that you're supporting us. They love that you're supporting them. Get your hands on a lawnmower, please. TCB gets you 20% off and free shipping.
It's an unreal deal.
Let's not forget about the free shipping. And so what you can do, right, is we want to introduce a merchandise line. We have big ideas. However, those ideas come with a cost.
They require capital.
That we do not have. That we are desperately trying to source. So if you want to see merch, get your hands on Lawnmower 5.0, get the performance package, 20% off and free shipping, manscaped.com, support the boys.
Alrighty, our final segment today is higher or lower. And today we're looking at iconic Australian sporting moments. And so the way it works is we're going to look at 7 in total and we're going to put them head to head. And we're going to discuss what is more iconic. And what we decide is the more iconic one out of the 2. We'll move on to the next round and we'll bring in another iconic moment. And whoever's standing at the end will be the champion. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first round matchup is going to be Stephen Bradbury winning at the 2002 Winter Olympics. Even though I said 10 minutes ago I don't believe in the Winter Olympics, we're going to include it here. And that's going to go up against Ash Barty winning Wimbledon in 2021. 2 very, very iconic moments for different reasons.
In my opinion, this is like a landslide. I think Stephen Bradbury is 100% iconic. Way more iconic. Respectfully to Ash Barty, I watched that game. It was a beautiful game. She destroyed the whole tournament. But you're not seeing replays of Ash Barty winning Wimbledon now. Whereas like doing a Bradbury, that's literally a saying. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think if we're talking, we're not saying that it wasn't this huge feat for Ash Barty to win that. And the context is amazing. Second Aboriginal woman to win it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's amazing. But when we're talking iconic, Stephen Bradbury, without a doubt.
I agree with all that. And I think Stephen Bradbury should go through. But I want to go out to bat for Ash Barty for a second. The first Australian woman to win at Wimbledon, I think, in 40 years.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not iconic. It is an iconic moment.
Groundbreaking. Surely that has to carry some weight.
No, it does.
That's why it's on the list.
Does. Yeah.
Let's remind listeners how Stephen Bradbury won. Why is it so iconic, bro?
Man, it's just iconic because, first of all, in the semi-finals.
No, take it back a step. In the heat.
In the heat it happened?
So what happened in the heat was it was top 2 qualify for the semis. And so they did the race. And in his heat was the previous Olympic champion and the current favorite. And so he came 3rd behind those 2. But what happened was the guy who came 2nd illegally blocked someone else off, and so he got eliminated. So he went through to the semi, and then what happened in the semi, row?
Semi, mate, first, miracle moment, everyone falls, he does the same thing. He goes through from last to first. Then he's in the final. No, expectation or anything to win. And then you hear the stories in the background, people like this and that. His whole strategy was like, I'll just stay at the back and just see what happens. And the last lap, bell rings, everyone falls, and he just goes through. Arms aloft.
That is actually one of the
I was going to cry. Salt Lake City, Utah? What a moment.
It's actually amazing.
The Mormons sitting in the stands.
I think with Stephen Bradbury, right, there's like a massive story behind it. Ash Barty is just a gun. Like, she's just an absolute weapon.
But that's why I'm low-key arguing towards Ash Barty, because Stephen Bradbury shithoused his way through all the rounds.
But that's
by
why it's
circumstance.
But that is what made it iconic.
It's fair.
But I also agree, Ash Barty, it's huge.
She's a victim of her own success. Do you know what I mean? Like, she was there and she's too good and she was meant to win it and she won it. And it's like,
well done.
Well done, Ash. Job done.
All right. So we're saying Stephen Bradbury will go through.
Yes, please.
Based purely on like how iconic something is, it has to be Bradbury.
Yeah.
Done. All right. So sorry, Ash Barty. Next up, we have the Queensland State of Origin team winning 8 in a row. So from 2006 to 2013, they won every single year. I didn't see a win from the ages of 7 to 16.
Formative years.
Very formative years, dare I suggest. Every year coming to school, like, dude, we're going to win this year. And lo and behold, we got pumped.
I'll leave this one to the experts.
Don't look at me. I'm not an expert either.
Okay, so it looks like it's us.
Just us.
What about being the New South Wales team to win the first one after that?
Is that
I
iconic?
think that's more iconic, no?
Like,
2014
yeah,
when
when
Jared
you-
Hayne came back.
you think that's it. It's not State of Origin anymore. It's just Queensland Cup.
True.
I think that's a thing anyway. But I still think Bradbury, when we're talking Australia wide, and it being
True.
a moment that everyone can kind of recall,
True.
I think it might have more weight.
Yep.
But for me personally, the Origin, like you can't beat State of Origin and the hype around it. So I'm a bit torn between these two.
Not to mention the fact that Queensland team is arguably the greatest team that's
Oh.
ever been assembled. Literally, you look across the park and there was Hall of Famers, future immortals.
You
like,
look
come
at
on,
that
are you kidding
lineup,
me?
it's crazy.
Mm.
Crazy.
So the fact their dominance, like going in every year, you just knew who was going to win. Like no team has been that dominant.
But that's so
before.
boring.
Is it like Ash Barty should have won? Like
Correct.
that good
So
that they
right,
should have won
yeah.
anyways.
Also, in what context are these two moments ever compared to one another?
Here on this
Yeah.
podcast, Kevin.
Queensland 8 in a row, 8 Origins in a row.
Correct.
But like what Kat said, right? I actually agree with that. It's not Australia wide.
True. No, that's
It's
true.
like New South Wales, Brisbane, Queensland, job done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like maybe the Queenslanders celebrate that better than Stephen Bradbury, but like overall, how can you look past it?
I think when we're comparing a sporting moment that is really shared between two states and maybe a few like fringes
Mm.
versus something that every Aussie was talking about and still talks about and still acknowledges and still mentions.
Yeah.
Bradbury is more iconic.
All right. Sorry, Queensland. All right. Next up, then, fine. If we're going to go individual versus individual, Stephen Bradbury versus Cathy Freeman.
Oh,
400 meter final at the 2000 Olympics.
It's Cathy Freeman. for
Ha-
me.
It has to be just pure.
Absolutely. But let's debate it for a second.
well, Cathy Freeman's little sperm suit.
Sorry. What? Is that the official name of it?
No.
No, that's a special. This
Yeah.
guy.
To be honest, Stephen's done well, but Cathy, unfortunately,
Kathy wins it for the sperm suit.
yeah, just for the fit alone, you know.
Did they ban the suit after that? Because I've never seen anyone running in a suit.
I don't know.
I do think something changed.
I swear
with
they
what
changed
they
it.
can wear. Yeah.
It's like in the swimming when they had those like
Yeah.
aerodynamic suits. That they
Those
all
were
wear.
actually called super suits.
super suits.
Yeah,
right?
the super suits. Yeah, and when all the world records got broken.
So just to maybe listeners who don't know, Cathy Freeman, Australian runner, first Indigenous woman, dare I suggest, to win a gold medal for Australia at the 400 meter sprint. And at the 96 Olympics, she won silver. So she came in pretty much as either the favorite or second favorite. She also lit the torch at the Sydney Olympics. So quite a bit of pressure
Mm.
at ANZ Stadium or whatever it was called back then. 100,000 people watching, weight of a nation. And she came through.
Won it at home. Does that
Won
add
it
to
at
the?
home.
Yeah,
she
that-
won it.
Yeah.
Big time. Adds
She won
to
it easily as well. If you go back and watch it, she won it by at least a length or two. So sorry, Stephen.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's
Has
Cathy.
to be Cathy.
It's Cathy. That was so iconic as a kid growing up,
Mm.
looking at a female doing what she was doing. I think we have seen a moment that felt like that since then, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Can I just say as well, shout out to Stephen Bradbury. He's made an entire career
I know.
out of that one moment.
It's a
He's
gold
making
medal,
media
brother.
appearances on radio, TV. Remember that show 20 to 1 on Channel 9?
Yes.
And he was always there as one of the guys commenting on things. I'm like, bro, how are you famous?
No, because like the backstory about Stephen Bradbury, he had heaps of injuries. Like he sliced his neck like on the ice skates, and then he was like about to die. There's like heaps of stuff.
I love how you tell stories.
With a smile on your face.
He's about to, like grinning like a Cheshire cat. While I talk about Stephen Bradbury's near-death
Potential
experience.
death.
Oh, guys, I've got to send you these videos, mate. The Olympics do like really good, like 15, 20-minute biopics on these people.
I
Out there.
worry about what you spend your time on sometimes.
I know, but it's an iconic moment. But Cathy Freeman.
Next up, we have the Socceroos in 2005 winning the penalty shootout to qualify for the 2006 World Cup. Aloisi.
I'm so biased with these.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Right, I'll tell you what I was doing in that moment. I was at a pub with my dad.
Dude, you're
You're
like
how old?
6 or 7. No,
Yeah.
you're 8.
I was 8, but we were in a pub with my dad, and it was just me and him. And I remember like watching the penalty shootout on the TV, and it was like the first memory I had of me bonding with my dad because we went absolutely nuts when Aloisi scored the goal, takes his shirt off, doing one of these ones.
So cool.
Your first moment bonding with your dad was at the age of 8. Your next was at the age of 23.
That was the first one I remember because it was just me and him. You know, it wasn't everyone around us. It was just me and him in the little pub. I actually think it was the local at Amoga, potentially. Potentially. No, my memory is
not confirmed details there.
Okay, your beautiful story aside, the actual moment itself, like in terms of bringing a nation together.
Oh,
The commentary says it all, man.
Oh.
Pure emotion.
I think also what it meant for the sport.
Yes.
It was a turning point for sport. And no, this is not discrediting what Cathy Freeman did, but I don't think that many more people started doing 400 meters.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that.
I think Aloisi did what we need. And also, like, let's talk about Mark Schwarzer too, the saves that he made as well. I think it was the second pen or something he saved. That is iconic in itself as well because it led to Aloisi winning for us. But what he did for the sport was huge. You look at Johnny Warren and all that they had done for football in Australia, and then it was that moment that consolidated for them, that all the work that they had done to build a squad that could make a World Cup, they'd done it, and we were now part of our I have no words. That moment was crazy.
I think that moment is what made me a football fan as well because I think before that I didn't.
It was like
I was playing baseball as a kid, but then after that,
What?
World
This is new
Cup.
information.
You ain't know that?
Nah.
That was a big time picture back in the day. Besides the point, I watched a lot of football then, watched the World Cup because Australia were in it as well.
Yeah.
Had a lot of interest, and then from there it was all. So yeah, I'm one of those.
Because from there as well, the A-League became a thing as well. They created the A-League, and soccer football in this country went from being like a niche sport behind like the likes of rugby league, AFL, cricket, into being seen as a proper sport that people take seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most participated in sport, but then when it gets to mainstream sport broadcasting and stuff, it doesn't have a big chunk in terms of viewership and whatnot. But I think everyone can safely say that they've had some involvement with the sport.
Yeah.
The majority of people. You've played some version of it, casually or competitively, whatever it might be. But that moment, I think your point was huge. It built a new fan base, and it's something everybody can recall, everybody can remember.
So we're saying above Cathy Freeman. To be fair, it's unfair on Cathy. It's one person versus 11 people on a field.
No, but you're right. Like, to be fair, I'll give Cathy props. The 400-meter sprint is like one of the most difficult Olympic events because it's like on that threshold of like your where it's like you're sprinting for almost all of it, but your like lactate levels get so high that it just like starts burning after 250.
Yeah.
But I love when you talk dirty like that. The hell's your lactate levels?
John Aloisi though, like I think because it was in such like a it was penalty shootout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just such a they didn't just
The
win 2-1.
context.
Exactly.
Not to
Context
mention
makes it.
Australia hadn't qualified for a World Cup since
Yeah,
1978
exactly.
or 74.
Low key, I thought the World Cup everyone just gets in. At the beginning, I was
Well, soon it will be. They're moving to what, 48 teams or some shit?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it would be like 2 teams miss out.
yeah.
One of them's San Marino and then gambling the other one. But yeah, the celebration I've seen millions of times.
Mate, how many kids you reckon at school that day took
Taking
up their
their
shirt
shirt.
and just
Yeah.
waving it around? Do you know what I mean? Like it's
That is
it's
true
up
though,
there.
yeah.
It's up there.
That's actually,
Yeah,
I
but
reckon,
didn't you buy a sperm suit to acknowledge Cathy Freeman? I don't know.
'cause I remember as a kid, I'm pretty sure we tried to recreate the Aloisi penalty shooter at school like that week or the next day or whatever. All right, so next up, we've got the Socceroos versus the 2023 Australian men's cricket team winning the ODI World Cup. The Cat, your thoughts on that?
I do remember when it happened.
Yeah.
But I'm not a cricket galley. So I want you to sell this to me.
All right.
All right, the sell is this, right? And I think still John Aloisi takes it through, but
Okay.
Pre-World Cup 2023 held in India. India were like the heavy favorites. Like they had this stacked team. They were packing out stadiums. Australia had like a very like pretty average campaign leading up to like the World Cup. They verse India in the group stages and lose.
They got pumped.
Yeah, they get hammered. And then whatever, everything happens. India goes to the World Cup final undefeated against Australia, who had done pretty well. They just lost against India, I think. And they go head to head. And then in their own backyard, Australia clinically delivers a performance with Travis Head making like 120 knot in a World Cup final. So
it was in India's backyard, like you said, at a packed stadium, 120,000 people, all Indian fans, in a stadium named after the Indian president. So like degrees of difficulty, very high. And this
Wow.
Indian team had won 10 in a row. were the number one ranked team in the world, had the best batter in the world, had the best bowler in the world.
Wow.
The
They're all
odds
being
were stacked.
streamed by like 2 billion people.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think for cricket fans this is the pinnacle?
no, and this is why, right? For Australia, no one really cares about cricket that much.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like expected that Australia wins these things. There was no like ticker tape parade when,
Yeah.
the boys got home, this and
Yeah.
that. So like, it was a monumental achievement, but I think in terms of like
Iconic.
iconic
Right.
levels,
But it should be iconic,
It should.
in my
That's-
opinion.
that's
Like
the
when you
problem.
describe it like that, I obviously work in sport to the extent I see this stuff going on, but I never understood it as much context as that. When you paint it like that, that is monumental.
Like going in, Australia, I reckon, were third, fourth, maybe even fifth favourites to win.
Wow.
Like no one gave them a chance.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
teams play?
I think there was
12, 14 World Cup. But I think no one cares like that much in
Yeah,
Australia. Like,
yeah.
Australia won the World Cup. It's like,
But
let's jump.
it was a if you know, you know sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you cared about it and followed it, you knew that it was insane what they achieved.
But respectfully,
Yeah, respectfully.
Soccer
Not
is-
as iconic.
No way.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I actually am struggling to find a more iconic moment. So I'm hoping you have something in the bank.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So for the last round, up against the Socceroos, we have the 2023 Matildas penalty shootout. Well, Kat, you were there that night. Talk us
I
through
sure
it.
was.
How was the feeling in the stadium?
The feeling in the stadium was crazy. It was crazy. The was palpable. Funny thing for me though, once again with this whole interview thing, I was watching the majority of the game from the media area, which is kind of 3 levels up. And then we're at Suncorp. Their media area is underground, kind of on the same level as the pitch. So players have to come through, do their interviews, and then head out to the general media area and then do their thing. So you have to go down to the media area. It's a room like this. No windows, nothing. You feel like it feels like a
Jail cell.
It feels like a jail cell. It's got lots of TV, so you can see what's happening with the game, but it's soundproof because you do media, and it's just got cameras everywhere. It's very sterile. So you have to come down about 15 minutes before the game actually ends. So penalties were announced. So they said, okay, we're moving into pens now, down to the media area. I was like, awesome. So I've spent the entirety of this game on the edge of my seat watching it in live time, and now I have to go to a jail cell for the penalties. Anyway, so I go down. Obviously, the highlight is that I will be talking to the girls after this, but you're also thinking, my job's on the line because my job was based on how well the Matildas did. So if they bowed out in these pens, I don't know what my job looks like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if they win, I'm obviously really excited to talk to them. So we go down and there's a few of us media people all waiting, and we're now watching the pens on a TV screen, but they're happening 100 meters to our right. And because of broadcast delay, I could hear the result before I saw it. The stadium was shaking. I will never forget this moment because of the unique way in which I had to experience it, because I had to go back and like watch it all on TV. What did they actually look like? How did the girls actually kick? Because we're so focused on what's going on. But the roar when Courtney Vine scored, and there was, like I said, that delay, it was about 3 seconds. We see her kick, and then the stadium was like shaking, and we're like, she got it. And then of course we see it on TV, but that moment was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Is this the one we watched on the screens outside Sydney Olympic Park?
Yeah, Rose said tumble
Oh,
on
it
earlier.
was
It
like-
was
yeah.
Cathy Freeman Park, and they set up massive screens to watch the game.
Yeah,
We had a
it
similar
was against
experience.
France.
Yeah.
Slightly similar experience. So the TV about 50 meters away was like a second ahead.
Yeah.
So obviously penalties, we couldn't really see, we could barely see that screen, but obviously we could definitely hear and see the people. So like we kind of knew if it was going in or not, but
I didn't
still
mind
electric.
That. No, I didn't mind that because I was getting like my heart rate was getting so high that I was honestly like happy to hear the crowds. Like it
You're
was
like-
such a big relief.
But also when you knew, like, if one of the girls was taking a pen and you heard nothing, like silence, like, oh
They
no.
missed.
Yeah. They,
No, because everyone kept missing. Like there was heaps of missing.
so many
Killing
misses.
saved. Not
And
missed.
Yeah. Exactly.
What about when Mackenzie Arnold, she let one in and then she saved the next one?
Yeah.
And I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
yes, that's what you do when you fail.
Yeah.
You get back up and you save it. Whoa, passion.
But the thing about that penalty shootout was just the sheer emotional journey
Yeah.
through that entire thing, just the highs and the lows. And in the end, how many was it? Like 11 or 12 each that they took?
Yeah, it was the most in any women's World
World Cup.
Cup. Yeah. It could be in
Insane.
any World Cup. I can't quite remember the stat, but crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Are we saying it's more iconic than Aloisi?
I think two things play into it for me. One, I'm a lot older.
Mm.
I processed it very differently. I was there for it. I was
Yep.
in the environment. So for me, it's such an unforgettable moment. Aloisi had a different feel about it.
Mm.
So I feel like I'm a little biased towards the Matildas moment because of the weight of it.
Yeah. Not to mention it was a quarterfinal of a World Cup to qualify for a semi-final of a World Cup, which Socceroos have never
Right.
made it that far in.
Yeah. And it's women's football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, what it did for the sport and
Correct.
women's football, like everyone was into it.
Well, yeah, exactly. At work, like, because during the 2022 Men's World Cup, like, obviously the football fans at work were talking about it, but that was about it.
Yeah.
But during the 23 Women's World Cup, everyone at work was talking about it. Like, my directors, like, the people, like, way older, like, everyone was just like, oh, I'm trying to get tickets, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was so
blah, blah.
impossible to get tickets as well. Like, I think Australia just got around football and women's football in particular from the
Yeah, it
World Cup.
was- I think the legacy that moment left behind for women's sport in general, this isn't just football either.
Yeah.
It's as we head into AFLW and NRLW and the cricket, obviously I feel like women's cricket, you know, they really set the bar for the way that you look at them as being just as skillful as the men. But this was the moment where the Matildas silenced anyone who doubted whether or not women's football was watchable or entertaining or any of that. But I think it will have a ripple effect on other women's sport. So I think I would say that moment was more iconic.
And I think it's cool that this generation of kids have so we had the Aloisi moment. This generation of kids will have now
Yeah.
the
The Matildas
Matildas.
moment.
And
Yeah.
people also compared it to a Cathy Freeman moment as well
Yeah.
in what it means for young women and having someone to look up to, whether it's a Mary Fowler or a Sam Kerr,
Mm.
Steph Catley, whoever it is. They've got these Cathy Freeman-like figures now that they can look up to.
Not to mention as well, the World Cup was here in our own backyard, which added a lot of
Yeah.
extra pressure onto the girls.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to say this is the most iconic.
Yeah, I was ravenous. Like for every Matildas game. Like I went to the World Cup final by myself. One ticket. I just bought the ticket and went.
Respect.
Yeah, because I'm remembering now how much of like a hold that tournament had
Yeah,
in the country.
such a hold.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we couldn't get any Matildas tickets, so we just watched it like in these stadium, not the stadiums, but like the watch
They
alongs.
had all the fan zones
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, so I also happy to put the Matildas moment as like
I
the
love
most
that.
iconic.
I love how we caught so many people off guard.
yeah,
FOMO?
yeah.
Because leading up, obviously working in it, I was doing content for Optus Sport 100 days out,
Mm.
talking about the qualification process and and going to the playoffs in New Zealand. I did all these things, and you talk about it, and no one knew anything going on. And then it was so cool, but also a bit of a like,
Yeah, we
when,
showed you.
when it got to the start of it, I guess, and that FOMO started to build, and everybody was like, "Oh, I wish I'd known about it." And like, it was out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also do think I thought initially FIFA hadn't done enough to promote it because they really just did like a 1 month push beforehand
Mm.
as opposed to 6 months before like we tend to do with the Men's World Cup. But I think they promoted it at a time where it would be relevant and
Yeah.
people would go, oh, cool, it's coming up. It's soon. Not let's build some momentum for 6 months down the track. So I think they did it the right way.
I also think the Matildas they were good. Like I think if they weren't good, it would have had less of a like impact. But I think because they actually had a very good chance of progressing to like these later stages, I think everyone just backed them.
I agree. It does come down to how good of a team
It
they
does,
actually were as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
If they were out in the first round,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have had such an impact on the country.
Mm.
Alrighty, that leaves us with the Matildas, the most iconic Australian sporting moment. I should have caveated this before of the 21st century. If you're wondering why Dawn Fraser wasn't there or anyone of that ilk, let us know if you agree with that or if you disagree,
Or if we've missed any.
or if we've missed any.
I'm sure we've missed some.
Oh, heaps.
Yeah.
Wowee, what an episode. Massive thank you to Kat for joining us. I hope you had fun.
Thank
Where
you.
can the listeners find you?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's nice to come in and just talk about different stuff.
Mm.
It's also just me and Rugby League Guru a lot. So it's nice to just change it up a little bit. If you want to see any more of the stuff that I'm working on, head to Rugby League Guru's channels. We do loads of content, all obviously rugby league related. I try and we had a bit of a goat debate the other day. So I was able to bring a bit of football into the chat, but he's very new to this. So I try to do it sparingly. I don't want to scare him. And then obviously my socials, Cat Haddad, I do some other things as well. But that's it, guys. I'm just very appreciative that you had me on. And then I actually am not last.
Yeah, you take that. No, thanks so much, Kat, for having us on. And check us out, all our socials, Instagram, Facebook, you know where to find us. See you next week.